Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Spurs Only podcast, and where we're going to be talking about, and you guessed it, the North London derby. We've got today with us two Spurs fans, Michael, who is the founder of Spurs Only, and Phil, who is also a co-host as well, a dedicated Spurs fan. So let's get straight into it. What do we think about the post-match reactions from the managers and player? Phil, do you want to start on this?
Just to talk about my thoughts on that game. I wasn't exactly going into it with great expectations. I think share the thought of many Spurs fans going into that one. As much as we don't like to admit it, Arsenal are a much better side than us at the moment. But it's the derby. Anything can happen. However, one league win away to the Emirates in like 15, 16 years. They've got the best defence in the league at the moment. We've got one of the worst in terms of chances created. So wasn't exactly expecting, fireworks from us today. But what can I say about today's performance? Well, I think Frank, he obviously went into that wanting to maybe shut up shop, probably realising that we wasn't going to get much out of the game. I think from the lineup, the way we set ourselves up, it looked like we was aiming to just try and frustrate the opposition, maybe just run away with a bit of a bore draw, and fair play if that's what we want to set out and do, and we want to go and do that against the league leaders at the moment in the derby, then I'm all for that. But we set up like that and we got absolutely embarrassed.
See now, 4-1. Do you think with those tactics though, and Michael, you can weigh in on this as well, because as we were having the chat before the game, and that, like I said, a few of us were optimistic. I say a few, mainly me. I was saying it's going to be, I was going to say it's going to be 2-0. Our away record has been very good. It's the best. It was the best in the league. It probably still is up there. We've only lost one away, same as Arsenal. But yeah, Michael, with the game, did you actually see it being that bad?
Not really. I went with 3-2 because, like I said before, Phil's just mentioned, our away record's been great. But at the back of my mind, I did think that it's the Emirates, and we haven't won there for a really long time. Since the Carabao Cup, I think 2018. But I was just hopeful as a fan on the sideline. I want to go to the Emirates and win, but
it's the hope that kills you, though.
It is.
I admired your optimism, boys, but I'm also a realist, and like I said, our record away to them, and the last few years in North London derbies, we've been absolutely dreadful. And I just thought going into this game, it was probably our worst chance of getting something from it. A draw would have been the best we could have hoped for, but that was. We were beyond second best today, in my opinion. And it just kind of echoes our last few performances. I think Chelsea performance was one of the worst performances we've put in years. Genuinely, it was so bad.
Today was there as well. Today was definitely up there with one of the worst I've seen.
We got a goal. We actually managed to get a goal from it. So there was one positive to take. But yeah, apart from that, it was absolutely... it's becoming a bit of a common theme now, which is a bit of a concern. We had the Chelsea performance, 80 minutes versus United. I think it was on almost a par with that Chelsea performance. Obviously, we then got those two late goals and looked like we was going to win it. And then obviously United got the equaliser, which, to be fair, I think probably a fair result in the end. And then we've gone into today, and like I said at the start, we've obviously gone into it setting ourselves up to try and get a draw and frustrate them, but we've had our pants pulled down. There's no other way to say it, and the worst part about it is that Eze getting not just one but 3 goals to really kind of stick the knife in.
I know that hurt as well. That
Eze's situation as well was I've seen a lot of people saying oh, why have we settled for Xavi Simons, or why have we settled for, not realising that obviously the reason the whole Eze deal fell through was because he come out saying that he's an Arsenal fan, and obviously through Fabrizio Romano, whether he was stating that he's waiting for Arsenal to do something. That's why it was taking a lot.
The thing that annoys me with fans like that, like the Spurs fans do, and not just Spurs fans, every Spurs fans, it's like
After
along the years, it's go on.
So sorry, like after hearing that, I was just thinking, like, people are saying, "Oh, we settled for Xavi Simons." Like, why would you want somebody who's an Arsenal fan, who's clearly waiting? He knows that we've gone in for him. He knows that we've got a bid for him, a contract, and stuff like that. But he's not. But he's waiting for Arsenal to come knocking. Like, that's not someone you want to come to your club to go to, just to wait on arrival and then go over there for another. Like, when the time's right. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Like, as Spurs fans, we say it year in, year out. Why are we settling for this type of player? Why are we settling for that type of player? I think, like, Phil is a very realistic Spurs fan, but people need to realise that we don't settle for players. We just get the ones that actually want to come to us. You've seen it over the years when we've gone for other players. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but do you remember when William, for instance, actually going to Chelsea? He was coming to Spurs. He was all signed, and then Chelsea came in for him. And at the time, Chelsea were a far bigger club and better, and he chose them. Now, why would you then go, "Oh, it's a joke, blah 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 blah. We can't get these players over the line"? But if they're making the decision, why would you want him to come to your club, knowing that he doesn't want to be there?
I don't know if it was that clear cut with Willian and Eze, though, to be honest, whether or not they actually openly said, yeah, do you know what, I'll settle for you guys, but if Arsenal or someone else comes knocking, then see you later. I don't think the players actually set out to do that. I think we've just had some really shit luck over the years, and I think the biggest problem is we've dragged out... Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, the problem with those transfers, we dragged them out for so long. You know, look how quickly it took. I know that the factor of Eze actually wanted to go to Arsenal played a big part, but look how quickly it took them to come in, get the deal done, and take him off us. Whereas it took us about, a week or two prior to get to that stage. If we'd have just wrapped it up quick enough, we probably would have got him over the line. And it's the same that could have been said for so many of our transfers in the past. And that's been our biggest problem. So, you know, I'm not going to sit here and rant about our transfer policy all evening because, you know, Levy's gone, and hopefully going forward in the future windows, the signs are positive that things are going to improve. But right now, you know, we're midway through the first half of the season. We've just had a really, you know, shocking North London derby defeat, to be completely honest. And it's like, where do we go from here? Because at the moment, I'm not one of those people that's jumping on Frank's back saying, right, oh, Frank's not the man, I want him out, sort of thing. But I think questions do have to start getting asked of him, because it's the fact that these performances are so bad, and they're now game after game. It's the same, just no desire, no, so flat, so turgid, whatever word you want to throw in there. It's just really, really poor. And
it's actually funny that you said that, because one of my points was, and what I've been thinking about, and I've seen a lot online before this, is would you rather have had that game with Ange in charge, for instance, as he's the most recent manager, and we would have lost that game anyway, but it would have been an exciting game. You would have seen attacking football from us, at least taking the game to Arsenal? Or would you have preferred the Frank era of where everyone's thinking, oh, well, at Brentford, he's a tactical masterclass, he's one of the best in the league? But for me, looking at those players, I think genuinely, and I'm not just saying it because of today either, even the past couple of results, they look like they enjoyed their football a lot more under Ange than they are at the moment under Frank.
Yeah, they did, but we can't also get away from the fact that we also had some really horrible performances under Ange. And I think actually, if we go back as far as we did, but like, we still had some really, really awful performances under Ange. What I'm trying to say is that the last, you know, dating back to after we got rid of Poch, I can remember so many performances now over the years, regardless of who the manager is, where it has been that theme of, we will just, when we're bad, we are really, really bad. And we barely create anything. We're just sideways, backwards passing. And it's just a frustrating, angry watch. I remember was it under Conte where we played Middlesbrough away in the FA Cup? Didn't you go to that one, Mike?
Yeah.
Did you go to that away game?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
A team, a league below us, and I remember that was a horrific performance as well. So what I'm trying to say is that these performances have been quite a common theme over the years, regardless of the manager. But I guess the concern at the moment is that we've changed the manager again. We started the season looking like we were, showing some positive, promising signs. And don't get me wrong, we're obviously doing a lot better this season than we did under Ange in terms of our kind of league performance. We have got some results together. It's the fact that the last 3 league games now, it's been that same really dull, turgid, shit show of a performance, and it is starting to make me question, what kind of Frank is, how he's setting us up, and whether that's going to, change. Are we going to get better? What's the kind of leading cause here?
So obviously going back to the point of Ange and which manager, let's be honest, Frank obviously didn't do anything in the words of tactics today. But like I said, with Ange in charge, at least we would have given that a good go. So would you have preferred Ange's team there or today's performance?
Well, yeah. Well, last year we got a draw there, didn't we? 2-2. It was classic North London derby, both ends. But we had a star in the team. We had Heung-min Son, who knows exactly what a North London derby's about. He's scored in God knows how many of them. But I feel right now we don't have a star. I feel like the club right now doesn't have a keeper that's the face of the club, or that's.
Do you know what? Since you said that, I think the star of the club, and I think purely because of his character and his presence, he might not be the best player, and a lot of people in Spurs and footballing world probably don't think he is our best player. But genuinely, for me, maybe the result wouldn't have been different, but I think the performance definitely would have been different today if Maddison was on the pitch.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard to tell.
He knows. There's no one in that team that knows what it's like for a North London derby. No one. Today's performance, it just looked as if they were turning up, getting paid, and going home. I mean, like we were talking at the beginning of the post-match reaction. If you've seen it, you've seen Vicario afterwards, and the first thing he says is, "I apologise. That was unacceptable. There was no fight. We didn't fight for it."
He was right.
How can you do that? How can you come out after that game? I don't care if everyone says, "Oh, at least he came out and said something." How can you come out and say that? Just don't say anything at all. Just go home, be quiet. Don't go on Instagram. Don't go on thing and say thank you, fans, and all that lot. Just go home and shut up.
Yeah. And you can't keep apologising for not having the fight or not having the want to win. You can maybe get away with that once at the very most, but it just seems like we're getting these apologies more and more frequent at the moment. I think this is why I'm a little bit torn as well with kind of where we're at the moment, because I do think, we have got to take into account Maddison and Kulusevski are big losses. I think if we actually had them available and as rotation options, I think we'd potentially be having a different conversation right now. I agree.
We need a striker, I think, as well.
Yeah, Solanke. Yeah, obviously Solanke's out as well. So
I wouldn't even say him. He's not that good.
Well, I think just having that additional option, we do need to go out and get another striker. But I think right now, just having that option of Solanke available as well, of having Kulusevski and Maddison, I think would make such a difference. I think, Xavi Simons is obviously not set the world alight so far, but I like what I've seen of him, and I've got no doubt at all in my mind that he is going to come good.
Xavi Simons,
what was you going to say?
I was surprised he's benched him today. After the last couple of games he's had, especially in the Champions League, he's been, I thought it was slowly but surely getting a lot better by game. And then you come to a game that's kind of important and he just benches him. How's he going to get momentum or keep getting better if he's just going to get dropped for a bit
because clever old Frank thought he was being a tactical masterclass and putting 11 men behind the ball.
Yeah, maybe it didn't work, obviously, and then it got to the half time and he come on. But
do you know what's annoying more about that game? Now I think of it, actually, is when we played against Man City at the Etihad, who are arguably, I don't care what anyone says, they might not be right now, but they are better than any other team in this country. When they get going, they will not stop. They're like Ledley King against Chelsea. They're a train that will just keep going, and they will not stop.
They should be, but
we went there and we beat them 2-0 and shut them out. And we played expensive football. We didn't sit back and think. We took it to Man City. So I don't get why in his head he saw, well, if we can do that against Man City, why can't we do it against Arsenal?
I just think it's a bit. I do think it's quite early in the season. Like, it is quite early still.
It is. It's only the 12th, 13th game.
And it's just, we've given Arsenal a freeway. They're 6 points clear now of Chelsea. They don't have any games in hand. It's just like, it's our worst nightmare currently.
This is the thing.
They're running away with it. There's no team currently in the Premier League that looks. You fought Liverpool, that'd be incredible. They're short. They're doing terrible.
Oh, they're terrible at the moment. One of my mates said to me the other day that Slot's getting sacked before Christmas.
To be fair, you think he wouldn't. Like, the form that he's in, like in the last 7, they've lost 6. So
yeah. Well, I don't know if any of you watched it, but Match of the Day last night, it's exactly what they said on there. There's no way a club like, I know we're going off topic now, but a club like Liverpool, the size of Liverpool, there's no way they lose 6 out of 7 and carry on losing and losing to keep their manager.
But someone said to me as well, like, if you're a club and you've won a title, you've won the Premier League, you wouldn't really like to sack him the season after, unless you're literally getting relegated. I think they will stick by him because he won him a trophy last year. He won him the Premier League, and
they will. But then sticking by him. If this form continues, like I think up next we've got PSG away in the Champions League on Wednesday. Yeah. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting anything out of that. If anything, they might embarrass us even more than Arsenal because they have the firepower outright to absolutely destroy us.
But Thomas Frank took it to him at the beginning of the season.
He did, and look what happened. Typical Spurs.
I just think that's because PSG. It's just a PSG, I think.
Yeah, so like I was saying, do you think with the form of Slot, for instance, with Liverpool and the form of Spurs, do you think that we're more likely to sack him? I mean, if you look at our next couple of games, we have PSG away. I can't see anything coming from that game. But then the big one for me really is the fact we've got Fulham at home on Saturday in the Saturday night kickoff, and I think that's going to be we're going to lose against PSG. Let's just put that out there. Like, the realistic of us getting a win there will be very unlikely. But if we lose against Fulham at home, I think there'll start being serious questions being asked.
He'll have weight on his shoulders for sure.
You've seen at home games already, the fans are starting to boo him. Everyone's starting to boo him.
Yeah, the trouble is it's like another. It feels like another Nuno. He's had 4 months and already everyone's getting their high hopes up. And my honest opinion, we should have just stuck with Ange. That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
should have just stuck with Ange. Yes, we finished 17th. It was dreadful, but he got us that trophy. He focused on that competition.
That trophy, yeah, because he knew we could win it.
Yeah, but I think it would be a lot different because he's the same manager. The players obviously would have still gelled with him, got on with him. They would have probably tried a lot harder because, obviously a new manager bounce. Everyone's like on a new page. They're going to try and impress him to try and get into the team. People that haven't been in the team before will start acting differently to try and break into the team. But
it doesn't look like that's helped at all, though.
When they realise they're some players have been swapped in, swapped out. Obviously, we've got big injuries, Kulusevski, Maddison, and but I honestly don't know. We should have just stuck with that.
I think the injuries are not helping at the moment, but I think probably the next 4 league games is going to really decide Frank's fate. We've got Fulham coming up, then we've got Newcastle, then we've got Brentford, and then we've got Nottingham Forest. So we need to be.
And then after that, we have Liverpool.
Yeah. So I think we need to be winning 3 out of 4 of those next 4 games, in my honest opinion. I think the Newcastle away one is going to be tricky. So I wouldn't expect to get 3 points there, but we should be winning those other 3.
Especially what they've done to Man City as well.
Yeah, and we also, if we're going to play and we're going to drop points in the next few games, we have to turn in better performances, better than what we're playing now. We have to start creating more chances. We have to start, creating better chances. I don't mind dropping points where we've not played terrible enough that we haven't created a single decent chance. Like the Newcastle game away in the Carabao Cup, yes, we lost and we didn't play well, but I still think it was a better losing performance than most of our losing performances this season. We had enough chances. Unfortunately, it was just, the chances were going up top to Richarlison. He just wasn't putting them away. Any other night.
He's not good enough. That's why I don't care what anyone
someone
says.
in there.
He's not good enough to be at Spurs.
Unfortunately not. No, I'm with you on that one. But that for me is just an example that we can play games like that, and we can on another night have a better result. But these ones where we're not even getting the chances up there, they can't continue. And if they do continue into the next 3-4 league games, then we're in massive trouble. And I think that will put Thomas Frank into huge trouble if he's not already, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, going into the beginning of the game though, with the tactics and just the way the game started, I mean, I think I was reading as well that in the first 20 minutes, Arsenal had 86 or 87% of the ball. Like, I get we've gone to the Emirates, and I get that they've been very good there, and we've only won twice, and one of them was in a cup, and it's been 20 years, I think, since they've been in that stadium. I get all of that. But the thing that annoys me the most, and I'll keep on going back to it, and I'll always say it, is when you watch, like my example is, when you watch a Sunday League team, there's lads on those Sunday League teams that we've probably all been involved in, and I've been in, and they've gone out the night before, and they've got absolutely lashed out of it. They've turned up to the game drunk, that they're hungover, and I've seen lads put in a better performance than what they did today, genuinely, and they're on hundreds of thousands of pounds a week, and they can't even put in a decent cross. I don't care what anyone says, and I don't care if anyone says to me, "You're not a footballer, you don't understand." You're paid well over 50, 60 grand a week, and you can't even cross the ball 18 yards.
I said similar to that actually after our Chelsea performance. I went and watched Paul Town. I said Paul Town, and they played really bad, but they still played better than we did against Chelsea. So,
it's genuinely ridiculous. And this might be an unpopular one, but the other thing that annoys me is how Brennan Johnson is still in that team and wasn't sold is beyond me.
I think selling him's a bit of a stretch.
I don't care, Michael. I know what you're going to say. You can't say that he scored the winning goal for the trophy. If you actually look back at that game, and I remember saying it because all 3 of us were at the stadium, at Spurs Stadium, watching that, and I think we went live on Facebook, and I said Spurs 1-0 scrappy goal. It was a scrappy goal.
It was scrappy,
I get that. It was a scrappy goal. Yeah. But it was nothing to do with Brennan Johnson. It was the fact that Luke Shaw was so shit and couldn't clear it that it bounced off Johnson and went in. And just thankfully, they had a Nana in goal. Because if they had a decent keeper, that wouldn't have gone in.
He has been very off the park, I do admit. I think...
Off the park? He's not even turned up.
He reminds me of Dele Alli. I think his attitude's the same. He's had that really.
No, Dele Alli in the Spurs shirt was unbelievable.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
He was good, but I mean his attitude. Sorry, not his ability. I just mean.
Yeah, but Dele Alli's attitude was down to Mourinho.
He had a lot going on as well. Yeah.
Well, yeah, had a lot going on. That sounds bad again, and I'll probably get stick for it. You can't excuse that you can't excuse that just because he had a lot going on. Everyone's got a lot going on. Normal people pay hundreds of pounds to go and watch you, and they're probably in debt and got 4 kids to feed and live in a council gaff and probably getting kicked out the week after, and they still spend that money to come and watch you.
Prima donna, Brennan Johnson. Bit.
He shouldn't be in the club. Simple as. He's not good enough to be there. If you want to win, no, it's not.
I'll give him time. Give him time. Well, what else have we
We
got?
we won a trophy. We won a trophy.
Yeah.
Granted, I get that. But what a lot of people fail to realise, and Jamie O'Hara says it perfectly, that competition on paper, we were the best team in it, but it wasn't a good competition. Like it wasn't. It wasn't like, oh, we had to beat some decent teams to get there. We
But it's a
we
major
we had to
trophy.
beat teams. Yeah, it is a major trophy.
Clubs
But
used to
let's be
break
honest,
those
it
deal
was
stuff.
it was just the fact that the way the teams we were up against. If that was, say, Champions League standard, we wouldn't even have got out of the group.
It's just lucky that we had the new format then, wasn't it?
Yeah, it genuinely is lucky that we had the new format. Like it's ridiculous because that final as well, and we all watched it. It like, if we're honest with ourselves, it was one of the worst finals
It
that
was
you could
boring,
possibly watch.
but
Like, and I've said it as a Spurs fan. As a Spurs fan, you don't care because it's been so long since the trophy. I would have taken it that no one even touched the ball for 90 minutes, and then we scored with one touch, and that was it. That was over. Everyone sat down and just waited. But
it was boring. But it gave me one of the best nights of my life as a Spurs
yeah,
fan.
it was one of the best nights. But this is the thing. If you want to be a big team, and if you want to be a team like Man City and Liverpool and Man United and Chelsea, I'm not saying Arsenal because they haven't won anything, so they're not really a big team. But if you want to be a big team and win stuff consistently, you have to be giving more than that constantly. Like with the
We need
Arsenal game today, the thing that's annoying is everyone saying, and after the game, all of the presenters, that everyone's online and after the game saying, this is it, this is their year, blah, 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 blah. You can play the best football on the planet, but it doesn't matter if you don't win anything. No one cares. Like last season, Arteta, and this is what really annoys me about him, is such an Arsene Wenger copycat. It's unbelievable. He moans about everything. They were the best team in the Champions League last year, apparently, but they didn't win it. Makes no sense. They just rile me up and they really get me going. It's only them as well. If we lose against anyone else, I'm just like, it is what it is.
We don't really do well when we need to put ourselves in a good position, I think, ever. Like last week,
That's Spursy, that's why.
we could have gone second. Like, and every single time we seem to have some sort of momentum where we could go in an advantage position. We just never take it. And
Yeah,
again,
it's the fact that if we won the games that on paper you're meant to win.
Well, we had an XG of 0.07 today, and 2 weeks before that we had an XG of 0.05 in a whole game. We had an XG of 0 in the first half. We had one shot.
One shot, one goal.
Because we're flat. We're not creating anything.
He got it wrong. He's admitted it. I know. He said, how he wants to. He changes it at half time.
Yeah, well, we are getting it wrong. These last few games, we are getting it wrong. And something
it's not good enough him saying, I got it wrong, I apologise. All week they've been building it up in the media as like a big game, and Frank even said himself, he said, I usually take game by game, and I've always taken it game by game, and every game's treated the same. He said, but this is the one that is actually different. It is a different game. Now, if you know it's a different game, and it's such a big game. And the other thing that annoys me, the players were on the video as well saying, oh, it's a big game. We know what it means to the fans. That performance knows what it means to the fans. Then I don't know what they think it means.
Some of them did. I feel some of them did try. Like we've got runners like
name one player.
You Doggy. They were running, they were trying, but Arsenal, they all wanted it more. Every time we were on the ball, we were swarmed. 3 players straight in there. No one was coming in.
Name one player that actually looked like he wanted to play that game today.
Kudos.
Really?
Yeah. You see that he
got brought off.
like he's like, I want it, but every time
exactly. So name one player that looked like they wanted it and they were up for that game.
I think what you kind of started to touch upon there, Mike, is how the Arsenal players are like straight on us when we get the ball. And I think one of our biggest problems is we don't do very well with teams that press us. Whenever teams press us high, we struggle. We struggle to string enough passes together. And I think that's where then the lack of confidence comes in, and we resort to going sideways and we going backwards and just not doing anything with it at all. I think that's probably our biggest problem at the moment, is we don't know how to cope with that when teams really go at us and give us no kind of time or space to actually do anything with the ball.
But it's not that. I'll tell you how you cope with it. You put in a challenge. You at least run around and look like, even if you run around like headless chicken, you at least run around and try and get the ball back. But sometimes they like, I think for nearly all of Eze's goal, but the first one. I mean, the first one, I'll be honest, and I'm not just using it as an excuse. I think we're very unlucky with Eze's first goal because there was three players in the sight of Vicaria and they didn't even look at it. And afterwards, that the PGMO or whatever they're called said that they reviewed it They reviewed it and it deemed that there was no players in his line of sight, which is an absolute lie. The fact they didn't even let the ref go and see it, because you can clearly see from the replay there's three players offside and all three of them are in his line of sight. Simple as. Vicario still should have saved it though. I don't care what anyone says, still should have saved it. But the other thing that annoys me is it took till the second half for them to actually finally, like when that goal went in, we had about 5-10 minutes of good play, and not even good play, at least looking like we were up for it, challenging for it, and then all of a sudden just went to pot again.
Yeah, I think that 5-10 minutes, Arsenal backed off a little bit. They backed off a little bit. We had a bit more room to play, and that's what I mean. Our problem is when we've actually got the ball, and when we've got the ball and the other teams are not giving us a chance to play properly, and our midfield as well doesn't help. I think that's also, it's been said by so many fans this season, and it's one of the, most obvious observations so far, is our midfield just isn't good enough. We've got, we persist with Bentancur and Paulini in the middle, and they're both two similar profile of players, which, neither of them are progressive enough to actually drive enough like balls forward and feed into the likes of Simmons and Kudus and stuff. So, that's also playing a big part into our downfall at the moment. It's definitely one of our key areas, I think, for investment come, January, I'd say at the moment, rather than next summer. We need to really go in January and make some moves there.
I think the striker's more of the position we need. But the thing that is another thing that's annoyed me is Bergvall. He was so good last season, like as good as he could be in that shit team. But how Frank's just not brought him into the fold.
Frank's been playing
very rarely.
He's been cautiously left out for the past 3 games. Obviously, he got that knock on his head, didn't he? He got concussion.
He said in his pre-match conference he was fine. He was available to play. Could have started.
Oh, he was available.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on. Oh, okay, yeah.
So why not play him? He when like, as much as it sometimes annoys me, when he gets the ball, he drives forward. He very rarely looks back, but he always goes to drive forward and pass that ball forward. He might not always get the pass he wants.
Just it's just a big defensive bust. That was all it was. And you've got.
Do you know what it is as well? Okay, we've got Van der Ven and Romero, and Van der Ven on his day is unplayable as a centre back. But we're not very good defensively. Last season, the season before, and this season, we haven't been perfect. So I don't get the mentality behind we're going to go in and shut up shop against one of the best teams in the league.
Because we couldn't exactly go toe to toe with them, because the idea was if we went toe to toe with them today, we would have got battered, and it turns out that happened anyway. So.
Exactly. I'd rather have gone toe to toe with them, at least make it look like that they wanted to be there and got battered.
I think the trouble with, like you said about Bergvall not playing, is the system that we're playing at the moment in Frank's system, doesn't accommodate Bergvall when, Simmons is playing there instead, or Odebear. He will have those two holding midfielders, and Bergvall isn't a holding midfielder. He's not going to put Bergvall in alongside Paulinho, for instance. So where's everyone gone?
Yeah.
Oh, I could only see myself for a second.
Do you know actually the other thing that I'm going to get onto now as well, which is completely off of the North London derby, and I don't get it, is with our signings. I think it was so obvious to see under Daniel Levy that he was the one who decided, or the hierarchy were the ones who decided who we signed and blah 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 blah, and then the coach just had to deal with it. And I think that's the same under Frank. Like I don't get why you'd sign Tell and then not put him in your Champions League squad. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Tell was signed pre to Frank anyway. Tell was signed when technically Ange was still in charge, wasn't he? So,
well, he was on loan, not with an obligation. He didn't sign permanently until the summer, and that was when Frank was there.
Is Tell injured at the moment?
No, he was benched today.
No, he was on the bench.
He was on the bench, wasn't he? Didn't know if he was still carrying a knock or anything.
To me, with the game, it's a prime example of, and I think it's probably the next couple of games as well, and even now, like Frank said after the game, he said Arsenal are 6 years into their plan, blah 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 blah. 6 years in, still not won anything, but you can't count the FA Cup, wasn't his team. However, he's only 5 months into his plan. But the thing that is annoying is I think with the time he's had in charge and the time he's had with the players, he still doesn't know his best team. With the players he's got available, he doesn't know his best team and starting lineup, which I think that could be worrying. No, he hasn't, and you can't class them players yet as, like I said, because he's not had them available. But the players he's had available,
Madison in one friendly as well. So
yeah, but the players he's had available, barring Madison, he should know his starting lineup now. He should know his 11 players that he can go to, and he can say, "I know they're gonna give me something."
I think he's just taking his time too much.
I think it's been difficult though. I think he is. I think it has been difficult for him to gauge. Like, I think, ideally you want Simmons to be playing in that position every single game, but he's been off the boil for most of the games, so he's had to make some changes there. And it's like I said earlier, I think he'll come good eventually. I think what doesn't help Simmons is that he's come in, he's been one of our record signings over the summer, big name, going to be that kind of game changer for us, right? So he's had that weight of expectation on his shoulders, right? And, for that price tag, yeah, you would expect him to come in, but he is still very young. And also, I think what doesn't help is he doesn't have that competition at the moment. This is why it goes back to what I said earlier about, Madison, Kulusevski not being available. I think if they was available as rotation options in the squad, that pressure from Simmons would probably lift a bit, and you'd probably see a little bit, more from Simmons at the moment. He probably would have settled a lot quicker, in all honesty. I don't know. I just feel like if we had the option of Madison to rotate with him at the moment, then we probably wouldn't be getting so frustrated with Simmons at this stage of the season so far. So I think that's a big factor and has to be kind of taken into consideration at the moment, to be honest.
I think I don't get why they didn't do it in the summer either, because last year and the year before with Solanke, I don't get me wrong, when we signed him and he was at Bournemouth, I thought, here we go, like he's gonna hit the ground running. He knows what the Premier League's like, blah 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 blah. He's done, like, even in an attacking team like Postecoglou's team, like, as much as people won't like it, we were very attacking, so attacking that you may as well have just not had a goalkeeper and a defence. But even in an attacking team, Solanke didn't exactly set the world on fire.
No, he didn't, but I still think he's a better option than Richarlison at the moment.
But I can't. I'm a better option than Richarlison. Like, I could do it. My 3-year-old could do a job up top instead of him.
What do you think next? Like, looking to Wednesday for PSG.
I think he's going to do the same again. I think he's going to go over back 3. All of us aren't happy with the game against Arsenal, but let's look ahead to the PSG game. Do we think that he's going to change his tactics for Wednesday, or do you think he's going to keep it the same, Michael?
I think he's got to change. He can't do another back 5 and back 3 and rely on 5 defenders and 2 defensive midfielders and have no attack when our attacking players currently are not good enough.
But do you reckon that's the way to go, considering that, I don't care what anyone says about PSG are a better team than Arsenal. They're a better attacking team. Definitely. They've got better players than Arsenal. They've been more consistent. They won 5 trophies last year. Okay, yes, they got beat by Chelsea in the World Cup, but do you honestly think we're going to be able to stop them?
Yeah. I mean, every time...
No.
I feel like every time... No, sorry, not going to stop them, obviously. But I feel like whenever we play a team that's really, really good and we go all out, we go attacking, we take it to them, we seem to...
Like we did against City.
Really well. We normally... The players... most of our players are attacking minded. You've got... Like, we seem to do really, really well. And whenever we sit back and go defensively with Spurs, it's literally like shooting ourselves in the foot. I just call it suicide. Like,
yeah,
we're not good under pressure, especially playing out from the back either. Vicaria's with Kinski and goal, I feel a lot comfortable playing out from the back because he's good with both feet. Than Vicario. Every time you, like today's game, you look at every time they send it back to Vicario or try giving it to the defenders at the back.
I was screaming at the TV, just kick it.
Each one of them straight away, as soon as they got the ball, try to get rid of it as quick as they can so that they weren't on the ball. Like, it's just like a sheer sort of panic. And I just feel like every time we do that, I don't think they know how to do that system. I think they just need to do what they're good at. The defenders, Romero, Van der Ven, they're incredible anyway. And obviously we have our wing backs, but we should just use our attacking mindset as normal because we do a lot better statistically.
But is Frank an attacking coach? That's the problem, because he doesn't have that track record of being an attacking coach.
But if you look at his Brentford team, their high pressing was relentless. They were incredible. That's why they turned over teams like Arsenal. They beat Liverpool. They beat City. Brentford were great under obviously Frank, but I saw a comment earlier where someone said that was Frank's level. It's Brentford players, but like I say, anyone can beat anyone on their day. But
that's the thing, though. Like you just said, like his Brentford teams did not play anywhere near as bad as we're playing at the moment. And regardless of whether that was his level or not, you'd like to think that we've got a better level of players than he had at Brentford, so we shouldn't be playing like 10 times worse. It just doesn't make sense at the moment. Maybe it's just in our DNA. I don't know. Going back to what I was saying earlier about how this isn't, common theme now over the last few years, regardless of the manager, we will time and time again put in these really, really horrible performances. It's just a concern that we've now had so many in a row under Frank. I don't know. I'm weirdly a little bit optimistic for PSG. Not like I was today. I think today was, you just don't lose it. You just don't want to lose the North London derby. So going in and trying to shut up shop and not, be defeated was, probably the only way to go, to be honest. Whereas I think PSG, like Michael said, let's just go for it, because when we do actually go for these games, and I think it'll be quite an open game against PSG, I think that should suit us quite well, then potentially we might be able to get something from it. I still think we'll probably see ourselves on the losing end, but hopefully if we go at it with that attitude, could see a high scoring game, to be honest. I don't think we've got anything to lose really in that one. So I'm with Michael. I think that's the way he's got to approach it as well. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, like when we play PSG, I think you're exactly spot on there. So like I've always said, when we play against decent teams, i.e. Man City, and I know I keep going back to it, but Man City at the beginning of the season, when we played against them, I was confident anyway because we seemed to be Man City's bogey team. But we every time we play Man City, whether it's under Pochettino, Mourinho, Conte, Ange, and now Frank, we play attacking football against them, and they seem to be the only big team that we're confident of playing attacking football against, where we've proven time and time again against one of arguably the best managers on the planet, with some of the best players on the planet, that when we go toe to toe, no matter who we've got as players, we can beat the best. But I think with PSG, that's the way we have to go. We have to do it. And again, I'm a little bit optimistic. If we do that, I genuinely would decide on the day when you see the team sheet. I think if he goes for a more attacking lineup and goes for a back four, then I'd be a lot more confident, and I'd say we'll probably get a result, even if it's a draw. But yeah, we'll just have to wait till the the day. So before we end it and we say goodbye, what do you reckon the scores are going to be? We'll start with you, Mike.
Ugh. I want to say probably 2-1 PSG.
2-1 PSG, Phil.
So
We
I'm
should
going to
do
be
a
a
little
bit more
table on this
hopeful.
as well. 3 points
We should.
for correct score and stuff like that.
I'm going to be a little bit more hopeful. I'm kind of leaning towards 3-2 PSG. Like I said, I think it'll be high scoring if we go at it in the way that we want it to. But I'm going to be hopeful. I'm going to say 2-2.
Do you know what then? Seeing as you've gone for the loss, Mike, you've gone for the draw. I'm going to go for the win. I'm going to say 2-1 Spurs.
Okay.
2-1 Spurs and 2-1 Spurs, and I reckon Paulinho will get the winner.
The trouble is, we need these
that would make
points.
up for today, wouldn't it?
we
No, it
need
wouldn't.
these points to guarantee our security. I mean, we sit 10th at the minute on 8 points, which isn't too bad in the considering.
I fancy our chances of going through, though, even if we finish below the 8th, because you look at the teams that are more than likely going to be in the top 8. You've got Arsenal, you've got Bayern Munich, who play each other, funny enough, on the Wednesday as well. So I think Harry Kane's going to have a bit of a problem with them this week. And then you've also got Barcelona, who are too good, Real Madrid, that are actually performing this year, Man City, that's 6 teams straight away, and Liverpool, who have roared back in the Champions League. Okay, we'll see what they do this week, but that's 17 straight away that you'd think are going to take up the top 8.
I feel like we need points in the Champions League because I mean we've got PSG, Slavia Praha, and then we've got Dortmund, and then we've got Frankfurt. And
yeah, easy, light work.
PSG, I mean,
European trophies. That's what we do, isn't it?
not the Champions League.
We'll finish it on a high there anyway. So we'll finish it there. Like I said, join us again, and we'll have the post-match reaction from PSG, and I look forward to the weekend's game against Fulham.
Cool. Cheers, Phil. Cheers, Mike.
See you later.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.